today is a special day. Today's a special day. It's always a special day when we come on the Purpose Pod, but Lauren McCoy is with us today. She's a bright star illuminating, right? and I'm just really excited to have her on. If you guys haven't seen her on BNC News, you need to watch Start Your Day, and it will start your day off right. Please tune into them. I do it every day. I start my day every day. But Lauren McCoy, like we're going to take a journey through her life. We're going to take a journey through media and mental health. So please but bring up Lauren McCoy. Ooh, I'm over here like, help me. I didn't know what I wanted to say.
Such a good intro. I love the intro. I feel so special. And shout out to DJ Davi. Yeah. Hello. I felt like I was at home. Okay. Come on. Bounce music. You have the bunny hop in there.
Come on. I love bunny hop. Let me tell you something about the bunny hop real quick, since you just mentioned the bunny hop. My boy Marcus. So after Katrina, my best friend, my best man, actually, Marcus, he moved from Biloxi, Mississippi. Mm-hmm. And he came to my school, Somerville High School, and he was like doing this little dance on the corner and stuff like that. I was like, bro, you dance? He's like, I do a little something, I do a little something, right? And so I ended up learning the bunny hop. It was like slide, hop, lean, rock, everybody stop and do the bunny hop. It was something like that, right? Like I remember you said bunny hop and that took me back. So I had to say that. But yeah, anyways, Lauren McCoy, it is so good to have you on here. Like I see you on my TV screen every morning, literally. And now you're on the Purpose Pod. Look at manifestation. Somebody say manifestation.
Yes.
Somebody say manifestation. Come on, man. So Lauren, when I told you, like when I first saw BNC News and Start Your Day, it just had to be God like that, drop you guys on my TV screen, because I usually don't watch the news. My TV is always on Amazon or Netflix. But this one day I put on Amazon TV and bam, BNC News, Black News Channel. There's Black people reporting news. And I'm just like, what is going on here? Everywhere, like everywhere you look, like everywhere, the weather, headline news, that's where you are, it's so fascinating to see the dynamics of BNC, and for you to be a part of that team, for you to be a part of that team. How do you feel? Let's start right there. How do you feel with being a part of this all Black for the Black people news channel?
Blessed, because when I got the opportunity, it was back in 2019. I was at another job. I was in Baton Rouge. I was an evening anchor for the Fox station there. Mm-hmm. And basically I got the call and I had to make some things work, but having an opportunity to be able to tell stories that cater to people who look like me is so important. And I love communities, and it's specifically being a part of the Black community, being able to have stories and show people that we're not all the same. We don't all have the same interests, and seeing literally, you look on Start Your Day, you have Sharon, Mike, me and Kevin, we are all different, but we all bring something different. And if you look across BNC, everyone brings something, but we all have this kind of connection. This is the most connected I feel like I've ever been with a team. And so it's just, I feel very blessed, and I feel very fortunate to be able to do this and to be able to have this platform. And the fact that literally we launched not too long ago, and then
like 2019, right?
And then we relaunched with Start Your Day. Yeah, it was 20. Because I'm trying to think. I started back in 2019, and then we had our first launch in 2020.
Okay, so it's fresh.
And then then we relaunched again with Start Your Day with Sharon and Mike, and that was in March of this year. And so, but it's so great to be a part of something so historic. And just to have such good support from the top all the way down. So honestly, you asked me a simple question, but I would just say I'm very blessed.
That's awesome. No, that's good. Go ahead. Like it's good when you can, like when your work gives you that kind of vibe, when you have that kind of energy from your work. And like, I see you on TV and I see that you love it. Like everybody on the show loves what they do, and you could tell it's so relaxed. Like watching Mike and Sharon, like they're goofing off. Like I remember you and Mike was on the other day when Sharon was out, and like it was beautiful to see you guys work together. And like, I'm going to go to this next part is with COVID, things shifted. You know, you start from like a newsroom and then you go to where everyone's like virtual now. Did that impact BNC News?
I feel like we kept going because with this new setup, if you look at it, COVID really put a lot of things into perspective for so many people, so many businesses. And the fact that we are each, because you have Sharon at her house, Mike at his house, me at my house, they were able to make it work. I literally, you can't see it, but I have a lot going on in my second bedroom. But they literally set up everything just to make it as seamless as possible. And I think it's perfect because, again, we are still in a pandemic where we're slowly but surely seeing that light at the end of the tunnel. More people are getting vaccinated. But that transition, to me, everything's going to be kind of difficult. Everything's going to be a little different, not even difficult, different. Yeah. And then you get used to it. And then now more people are headed back into work. And so it's like you get used to this one thing. And then I realize just during these times, you have to be adaptable and you have to be able to adjust whatever comes your way. And that's what I'm still learning in life. But that's what the pandemic taught me. And that's what working from home, because you're kind of secluded, but I think it's one of the perks is that you're not as easily distracted. You're kind of just focused on what you're doing. You're not really focused on anything else, what's going on in the workplace. You're literally just focused on what you have to do. And I think that that's helpful too. Yeah.
I mean, you guys do a good job. Like you would think that you guys were all in the same location, even on the same time frame, because Mike goes to LA sometimes. So he's like on a whole different time frame. So it's just awesome. And then I was interviewed on BNC News.
Yes.
So that was pretty dope as well. Like, I was interviewed on there, and just the vibe that I got while interviewing, I felt like I could be myself, you know, and I see you guys setting that example for all who view you and all who come on there. And you guys have some hot people that come on there. So it's pretty awesome. So yeah, props to you. Congratulations on your success over the years to rise after LSU. Let's just go there. She's an LSU alumna, you know, and she's a 2012 All-American Powerlifter. Come on. Let me see some guns real quick.
No. That was 2012, Lauren. This is 2021.
Don't do that. Don't discredit yourself.
It's not too much though. I really don't have too much going on.
It's okay. She said, look, when people start with that was
that's whenever they do that, it's like, okay, I get it. You were younger. But I will say, I had powerlifted my senior year of LSU. I literally walked on. I wanted something to do with my time. So I was like, they're having tryouts. Let me just give it a try. Like, I was a circuit coach and I had a little bit of time in my schedule. So I literally walked up and my coach looked at me and he saw like my thighs and realized that I could lift something. And I did a little bit, and then I just was hooked and I just kept pushing. And I really feel like powerlifting taught me even more discipline than I have ever had. Cause I mean,
from your dad?
I know my dad.
I was about to say, come on now.
Retired Marine. Retired Master Sergeant in the Marine Corps, 27 years. So just imagine, you know?
Right.
But I mean, I learned discipline from that, but powerlifting really taught me to believe in myself. I think that was the big thing, and not to get into my head, because I've noticed that when my lifts were bad, it was usually because I was thinking, I literally told myself, oh, you can't do this. I would tell myself, you cannot do this. And then what happens? I couldn't do it. But when I said, hey, Lauren, you got this. You've gone through so much in your life. Yeah. You got this. And it's crazy how that mental shift really, it just really works. And some people are like, oh, but it's just you're thinking it. Maybe you really couldn't lift it up. I mean, maybe I couldn't, but I'm telling myself I can. And that gives your brain telling your body, hey, maybe it's not that bad. And it makes it so much easier. Now, I mean, I'm trying to remember when I powerlifted, what was that? 300 and maybe 45 pounds deadlift. Wow. But in my head, I was like, okay, you got this. I mean, you did 330, you can do 345.
Yeah. Wow. So so let's go with jewel number one It's all in your mind. Jewel number one, it's all in your mind. That's where the battle happens. Thank you, Lauren, for that, because that's a very positive thing for us to take in this early beginning of this podcast, is that what we do and how we do it is dictated by our thoughts in our mind. Whether you say you can or whether you say you can't, you're right. Right. So my mother-in-law says congrats, by the way, and that she looks forward to tuning into BNC.
Yay.
Shout out to Mom. What up, girl? So that's awesome, Lauren. I'm glad that, like, it's so crazy how life works, right? Like you said, you walked on. It wasn't like, oh yeah, I was planning to do this.
Not
you
at
walked
all.
on. So now that you look back, how do you feel about that? Like, how do you feel about that, walking on and walking into your manifestation of the All-American?
I'm glad that I took the leap, because it's crazy to think. And when I was thinking about when I was younger, I did take a little bit more risks, especially in college. I was just like, hey, why not? And literally me just walking on, seeing that they had tryouts. And I remember telling my mom about it, and she was just like, what? And she didn't even know if I was going to stick with it, but I did. And I trained, and yes, my senior year was crazy, but I think powerlifting kind of just gave me something to look forward to, because, I was part of the yearbook, and I was doing a lot with broadcasting at the time, because that's my major. Right. And I still found time for myself. And I have to remember that even right now, even as an adult, even 31 years old that I am, I have to remember, hey, if you want to do something, you can make time for it. Yes, you have to work. Yes, you have to pay bills. Yes, you have to do all of this stuff. But you need to make time for you. And that's what I was doing in that moment. Walking on to the team and doing something I'd never done. I'd lifted weights before. I did circuit, and I was a circuit coach back in Slidell during my summers. But I was like, hey, why not? And I have to remember that even to this day, why not? If I want to try something, why not?
I'm trying to drop these jewels. Right? I'm just have to let this catch on. I was going to write it in the thing and then put up a little thing just to be fancy, but y'all just got to catch on, because she's just dropping it. Why not? And come on, why not? And come on, it's all in our minds, right? Like, so if we got to think it, right? Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right? So that's a powerful thing right there, And Michael Finkley says our words have life. That's a fact, bro. That is a fact. So Lauren, man, come on, you're just out here lighting it up already. You would have thought you do this for a living, like you just come on podcasts and you light it up, So tell me, Lauren, like we talked about your dad being in the Marine Corps, the best branch, on day one when God created the heavens and the earth, God created the Marines, right? So how was it, growing up with your pops?
So I am the youngest of three. My brother is 9 years older than me. He is actually a rocket scientist. And we talked about this a little bit on Start Your Day. I did this with Mike, and Mike was just so surprised. I said, my brother went to MIT, went to Boston University. He literally said when he was younger, and again, words are meaningful. He said he would be Dr. McCoy, and he ended up being Dr. McCoy, and now he builds rockets. I have my sister, who's 7 years older than me. She is a social worker, and then you have me, the journalist. And so I'm the youngest. And my brother and my sister moved a lot more when I was younger, but I was born in North Carolina, Camp Lejeune.
Camp Lejeune?
Yep.
I'm sorry, y'all.
I was born on Camp Lejeune, and then we moved to Georgia not too long after that, but I was so young. I was like 18 months, and then we lived here until I was 4, and then we moved back to Louisiana. My parents are from New Orleans, Algiers, the West Bank, and then I grew up in Slidell, but I was kind of back and forth. We went across the lake a lot, Lake Pontchartrain, and so I would say that I'm from both, because literally my family is from New Orleans, but I just happened to be born elsewhere because I'm the youngest. And then whenever they came back to settle down and my dad decided to retire there, I was in Slidell because they wanted us to go to public schools and they didn't want us to put us in private school in New Orleans. So it was just the easiest thing to do. But so having my dad, I didn't move as much as my brother and my sister, but it does instill some discipline in you, like I keep saying. And I didn't have it as hard as my brother and my sister, though.
Yeah,
I did not have it as hard because I'm the youngest, and so they had to make sure their beds were immaculate. Things had to be picked up, and they were a little bit, both my parents, because my dad is the Marine, but my mom, she was just as
Oh,
hard
really?
on us. But I think it helped us to be the people that we are today, because anytime I tell people that my dad is a retired Master Sergeant in the Marine Corps, it's just so much respect.
Yeah.
That's on that, because again,
Yeah.
boot camp for y'all is not easy. I mean, I know across all the branches, but it can really.
Don't say boot camp. You just gave me chills, girl.
I know. But I know it's not easy. And I think my dad, he even said that was the only time, and I don't know if he even wants me to say this, but that was the only time he had ever cried for my grandma in his life.
Wow.
Was when he went to boot camp. And he went to boot camp back in the 70s.
Oh yeah, back when they was getting it in back then. Yes. Like, he was getting real rough out there, because like, I know they had to lighten up some nowadays, but he got that good old Marine Corps type stuff right there.
Yes.
I know. So when she say discipline, y'all, just jump when I'm just playing.
Yeah, no, discipline. And that's why, I'm very, even to this day, I like things the way I like them. I'm very neat, and I get that from my dad, and just keeping, he's very big onto schedules. He would be the one to get up early in the morning and go for a jog. And back then, like the Marines would wear those like really short shorts. So he'd be jogging around the neighborhood.
We still do out here, girl. We still do wear them short shorts.
Run and go to work, and but he was in it for 27 years, and again, so much respect for all of military. But every single time I tell somebody that my dad was a Marine, it's like, whoa.
Yeah. They're like, whoa.
It's like
that's awesome. And when I saw that, I think I heard Mike, like I said, I watch you guys all the time. So like, I be hearing stuff here and there. I heard when you were saying that about your brother being a scientist, I was like, wow, that's dope. Right. And I'm glad you tied it in with what you were saying earlier about what we say, is very powerful, and then to go into your dad being a Marine. I'm over here like,
like what?
But for your dad being a Marine, I was looking at it the other night. Like, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm doing my research, and I was like, "Oh snap, man! Oh snap, this is dope! Like, I gotta have her on for sure." So, and that's so dope, and that's why you're so great, because you were born on a Marine Corps base, pretty much. You're from a Marine Corps father. You're a leatherneck at heart. So like, you had to be an All-American. I'm just saying, God set that up for you. Let me just stop. All right. So all my Army and Air Force and Navy people, we apologize if you're offended at this very moment for us talking about the Marine Corps, but and I know. Yes. We're not going to say that. All right. So let's move on with the show. So, we're talking about, and I have a list of things here, but I'm really trying to just, I like a vibe right now, we're vibing out. So, but I did want to talk about some mental health, right? Like media and mental health. So Lauren, like, there's a whole lot of stuff happening nowadays, especially like over the last year, 2 years, but really in this last year, there's been a lot of stuff happening in news and media. I've seen you guys cover things from the police brutalities to the voting rights, and you guys are all over. You take the whole spectrum and you bring it to people, and this information is dawned onto you. How has it been carrying the information?
What I've had to learn in my 8+ years doing this and being on air, I'm very, people call it like an empath, but I really feel people's feelings. I'm very into energies. Like, I really feel people. And so anytime we're doing these stories, of course, I'm feeling it. I mean, George Floyd for me was very difficult to cover. And I just remember I had times where I was, when I wasn't on air, I did have to do a little cry session to let it out, because it's a lot, but we have to make sure that we stay good for everyone and the viewers, and make sure we're giving them all the information that they need. But it does affect us, especially as Black people, seeing this and constantly seeing this. And I've had to compartmentalize a lot because my mental health is very important. And that's something that I actually took control of this year. I said before I turned 31, I was going to finally get a therapist, and I did it. And I've been with my therapist since March. And I am so open about it. Like, so many people, specifically in our community, don't like to talk about mental health. And that's why when you came on Start Your Day, Alan, your story to me was amazing, because a lot of people don't like to talk about PTSD. A lot of people don't like to talk about what you talked about. And the fact that you're seeing a man, and not only a man, a Black man who's a veteran, talking about this, I think it's so important, because we don't realize that we may just feel like we're sharing our stories, but it's really impacting someone. And seeing your story and how open you were, I really feel like that impacted people. It impacted me, because I was like, wow, that is so brave. And people have told me, talking about my mental health, I do deal with anxiety. And some people are like, but you're on TV, like, you don't look like you're anxious. Yeah, that's the whole point. I keep it in, and it can get to be overwhelming. But once I got my therapist, and I see her every 2 weeks on Thursday, I have a session this Thursday. Wow. Okay. And she is really about making sure that I'm focusing on my authentic self and trying to figure out what that is. And also, we dug into my trauma, childhood stuff. But we take that and we learn from it. And so that's kind of the way she does it. And she calls it our cultural narratives. That's what she talks about, like what we grew up and why our cultural narratives has a lot to do with how we are today. And then our limiting beliefs. So again, that limiting belief, I can go back to the powerlifting. My limiting belief was like, hey, I cannot lift that 345 pounds. But if I say I can do it, and you put it's your words. And so we talk a lot about that. And I was dragging my feet for so long. But really what happened was, with everything going on in the world, this pandemic, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, everything that was happening, I was like, I really got to get this under control, because I had times where I just felt like I was just overwhelmed and really burdened. And my sister, the social worker, she was like, Lauren, it's about time. You need to get a therapist. And I finally got one. And I think it's one of the best self-care decisions I've ever had and I've ever done for myself in my life. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. And I'm glad you did that, because like you said, a lot of people in our community, they don't seek that kind of help. People say, no, I got it. I've been this way. I've been doing this for 30 something years. I don't need that. Exactly. That's how it goes. And, I try to tell my family, like, hey, look, like, that's something that you guys should do. As a mentor, and I counsel people as well, and I've heard a lot of information from people, and I'm like, wow, you never know what people are carrying. Like, they could be managing their load, they're carrying it and they're managing it, but on the inside is some dark and gloomy stuff happening.
That's what was happening to me, because everyone just thinks, and it's so funny, because like Mike and Sharon will be like, Lauren, you're so sweet, you're so this, and then when people get to know me, they're like, oh wow, like you do have layers. And I am I would say I'm a sweet person. I'm very caring, and I care about how people feel, but there's things that I deal with that people don't know about. So when I do talk about my anxiety, people are like, oh, wait, you deal with anxiety? And I'm so okay with talking about that, because a lot of times they are too. Yeah. And so we can have those conversations and realize it doesn't make you weird. It doesn't make you strange. It doesn't make you like, because some people are like, oh, you go to a therapist. I've gotten like people like, oh, does that mean like you're crazy? It's like, no, I'm trying to manage my mental health as much as you've seen me. I love to do my bike. You be killing it. And then, I love to do things to help me physically, but mental health and mental training is very important as well. And that's why, and sometimes I'll be honest, I'll see that I have my therapy session coming up and I kind of don't want to do it, because I'm really, because you got to dig deeper and like you're getting asked all these questions, but afterwards I feel so good. And even my mom, she was like, she could tell that I was, my therapy appointment was coming up, because she could tell like my energy was a little different. But then like once I go to therapy, my levels go all the way up, and I'm in a better headspace. And I am a person of faith as well. And I think that's what I was dealing with, was like, I do have God, and I do believe that, he helps me the most. But having someone to talk to who is not a family member, who's not a friend, who's there really to help you dig deeper into your past and dig deeper into what you're really feeling and what you really want out of life, it has just been amazing for me in my journey and in my growth.
Yeah. And that's a big thing, Lauren, you know, with the people being of faith and not wanting to go to a therapist because they have the faith side.
Right.
But, you know, me with being a person with faith, a person of faith as well, a person with faith, a person that has faith, whatever it is, like I've been this person for the last few years. Even when I had PTSD, I was still a believer. You know, even when I had PTSD, I still prayed. Even when I had PTSD, I still cried out to God. But there was deeper things, like Lauren is saying, there were deeper things that were happening on the inside that I needed someone to sit down with me and let me dump it out, you know, and then organize it. So yeah,
that's a perfect way to put it. Organize it, because that's exactly what I feel happened. My therapist, she's awesome. We do teletherapy, and she will ask me questions. And again, I'm not used to people asking me questions like with this. I'm not used to people asking me questions. I'm used to asking people questions, and she'll ask me a question that I'd never even thought of asking myself. And I literally have to sit there for a good minute. She gives me time to answer. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, I didn't think of it that way. And we talk about anything, because she'll just be like, hey, what do you want to talk about this week? And whatever's kind of front and center on my mind, we kind of go there. But it all goes back to finding who I am authentically and making sure I look at those limiting beliefs that I have and those cultural narratives that I may want to change for my future. Right. Because we don't have to be what our past was.
Or our ancestors. Like we can still hold on to what they taught us, but evolve, you know, for the betterment of ourselves, because a lot of our parents and their parents and their parents carried a lot of things and they weren't comfortable talking about it because it was, you know, it's we don't talk about our family business out here. We're not going to do this out here. You know, like, you know the talk.
Yes.
Come on, man. So I'm glad that we're talking about this, because mental health is so important. And if you or somebody out there, whoever you are out there listening, if you're going through something, like you could be going through the smallest thing and it could be attached to something greater in your past. Like, let's say someone doesn't call you and now you feel abandoned, but then your parent wasn't around and now you're going through abandonment issues and you're trying to have relationships and now you're destroying relationships. So that's how it happens. A lot of times.
And when you talk about relationships, honestly, therapy, individual therapy, I feel like helps relationships, because you get to figure out what you're dealing with. They get to figure out what they're dealing with. So you're not bringing that. And again, some people, I didn't get therapy. I've been in a relationship for almost 6 years and I just got therapy. Now, it probably would have helped our relationship if I got it a long time ago. But I'm glad I got it. And it's one of those conversations that we've had, because I honestly believe, like, in couples therapy and stuff, because you kind of got to get that together for me first, because we're not married yet. But obviously that's in the plans, but you kind of got to make sure that you are good individually, then come together, make sure that that relationship is solid. Because like you said, a lot of times, you know, our ancestors and our people who came before us, they didn't always like to talk about things. And then that trauma gets passed down and gets passed down and gets passed down. And I said, before I have children, I want to at least be able to sort out my trauma and figure out, like, how I don't need to, I just don't want to bring that to my children. You know, I want to make sure I am together first before. And again, I don't think I'm going to be a perfect parent one day. I'm not going to say that, but I do want to do everything that I can.
Definitely not. I'm just
before having children. So therapy is on all fronts. I am a big fan. Some people, again, don't think that therapy works, but sometimes people don't think therapy works because they don't have the right therapist. They might not, you know, they may think, oh, therapy is what they need, but they may need a psychiatrist. They may need other things.
Yeah. So you can go find out if you have other issues, underlying issues.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's real. That's real right there. You might need to go to a therapist first, and they might send you to an exorcist or something.
Exactly, or something else. I mean, you got to figure it out. And again, just because you have a therapist or you go to a therapist for the first time doesn't mean you're actually going to click with them. Luckily, I did. I clicked with my therapist, but not everyone. And she even told me, she's like, you know, if you don't vibe with me, if this isn't for you, that's totally fine. You can find, you know, like, it's a process. You have to figure out what fits you. But luckily, she fit me and it all worked out.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's a blessing. So I hope we inspired somebody out there
Yes.
To do some research. First, do your research. Even if you don't book someone, or you don't have one yet, do the research, find someone, and then, you'll start taking those baby steps. So you find someone, then you call someone, then you show up to your appointment, and then bam, you could thank Lauren, when you're smiling every day and you got those Colgate teeth like hers, like I was like, hey, Lauren, how your teeth so white? She was like,
I'm telling you, it's
toothbrush.
electric toothbrush. Exactly.
Hey, you look at our cabinet right now, Lauren. I'll tell you, we got 2 electric toothbrushes in there. Me and my wife like, oh my God, I'm so glad we got this. Mouth feel fresh. I must have been doing it wrong for the past 32 years.
And you know what's crazy? So I actually need to make a dentist appointment. I usually go every 6 months like you're supposed to. But when my hygienist told me, hey, maybe you should try the electric toothbrush. And then I saw that Bed Bath & Beyond was having a sale. Got to catch the sales. And I went and picked one up. And I literally have been using that electric toothbrush for 6 months. Literally, I need to make an appointment, but it has made such a difference. Your mouth feels cleaner, I'm telling you.
I thought I ain't gonna lie. I'm real goofy. I thought you was about to say 6 years. I was about to say, Lauren, now you need to change that toothbrush.
6 months. You need to go every 6 months.
I'm just messing with you. She said, I keep them white. These every 6 year things right there. No, I was like, oh, so they real. I'm just playing. But yeah. Oh, sorry. All right. So let's bring it back. All right. But yeah, the teeth are nice. I got to give it. Mine's still a little white,
but it's a process. And I actually used to whiten my teeth because I remember Sharon asking.
You didn't tell me that. You should have said that.
No, but this was years upon years ago. So this isn't, no. This is not the whitened teeth but what I realized is that it kind of messed with my enamel and made my teeth way more sensitive. So I stopped whitening them. Okay. And so I haven't whitened my teeth in years, probably a few years.
Okay. But they still white though. So
they are.
Let me stop. All right, so that's dope though. That's dope. People used to talk like I felt it was awkward at times when I was like in middle school because my white friends would come up to me and they'd be like, like they were like, you have such white teeth.
White teeth.
I got
that a lot too.
A black guy. Like, what do you mean?
It's like it's kind of a compliment.
Right. It's like kind of a compliment, then it's like awkward. Like, okay, what kind of teeth do black people have? All right, so. So let me see what my dad said. Yes, I have 2 spare electric toothbrushes. They work. Hey, that's right, Daddy. That's my dad. Pops, Levi, what up? Yeah, he's an Army vet. Mother-in-law, she's a Army. Okay. Miss Sharon, what up, girl? How you doing? It's Sharon, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Wonderful podcast. I will be following you, Alan, from now on. Thanks for getting my daughter's story out there. Thank you, Miss Sharon. Girl,
my biggest supporter right there.
Let me send you a link so you can get on here, girl. I appreciate you for following me. I try to keep it 100 out here. I try to stay real and authentic. Like, like Lauren said, like we have to put our authentic selves out there. And Lauren, like I really like sometimes I feel like I'm pushing so hard and like I'm being my original authentic self and I'm motivating and inspiring people, but then it's like it's not happening yet. Like I don't see what my ideal outcome would be, and I still realize that I'm in the process. And a lot of us we get distracted. Yeah, go ahead.
Because honestly, with that, like that just brought in a whole new subject for me.
Come on.
Everybody's journey is different, and you're gonna have people. I'll tell you, even in this business, people who want you to be a certain way. That like your authentic self is not enough for them. But I've realized as long as it's enough for you, that is what matters. And that's something I'm still learning because, being in news, we do have to give you the news. We do have to, give you the news. But for me, I want to make sure that I'm giving it to you in a way that's authentic to me. And that's still my caring self, because I do care about what we talk about, and sometimes a little too much because it really does get to you. But I have to kind of be this person. Again, when you're an anchor, you're literally this anchor. You're anchored down. You're anchoring down this show. Right. And I'm still trying to make sure that I'm being my most authentic self, even when I'm telling stories that are kind of just straightforward. And again, in this business, you will have people who want you to be a certain way, or you yourself is not enough. And what I realize, and when I have to tell myself, again, it's what you tell yourself, your words, you are enough.
You are enough.
No matter what anybody else says, because no matter what, you're always going to have critics. And it's crazy because in this business, you know, we do get judged on our looks, even though we are constantly, you know, we're telling you the news and everything. But I mean, it's about what you look like too. And when I just was like, and I learned this young, I had a mentor, Britt, who told me, Lauren, just be you. If this is what you're comfortable look, then this is you. Like I've had the same look, honestly, on TV for probably 6 years, the same hair.
Like you never changed it up. You didn't do.
No, I've never. I mean, it's a little flat right now, but like usually for the show, I kind of judge it up, do a little bit of something, but just finding who I am on TV. I don't have to be like anyone else. And this goes to another thing, being like someone else. Yeah. There's so much competition in this world. And so many people are like, hey, like, you know, they ask me if I'm competitive or like if I should, you know, if I think I actually recently got asked if I think I'm the best at what I do. And I can't remember what I said at the time. I honestly don't even think I really answered the question, but now thinking about it, I thought about it and I said, I don't compete against other people. I compete against who I was yesterday. And if I tell you, do I think that I am better than I was yesterday? Yes. Do I think do I think that I'm the best that I've ever been? Yes. But I'm not about to compare myself to somebody else, because what does that do for my mental health? It's not helping me. I have to focus on me, and I'm very supportive of others. And I don't see, and it's so different in this business because it is very competitive and we do want to be at the top. You know, we do want to make sure that, you know, as a team that we are doing the best we can, but I don't feel like you should be competing against the person next to you. You should be competing against the person you were yesterday. Yeah. Come on. And that's what I tell myself every single day. Cause I even think about when I started Start Your Day, I know that I have gotten more comfortable in my skin. And so to me, that is a win. I believe that I'm telling the stories better. For me, that is a win. And if that's something that I can preach, and that's something that I'm digging through in therapy, is just realizing so many people want you to compete with everybody. And it's like, yo, just compete with who you were yesterday. And that, as long as you're the best person that you can be, that's what should matter. Come on. And that's been on my spirit a lot lately.
Oh, come on. Lauren McCoy, y'all. She out here dropping it. Come on. She better drop what's on her spirit. Come on. No, but so we're getting a lot of love. DJ Davi says, really enjoying this interview. Ma says, great interview. Well done.
Awesome.
DJ Davi says, also love the fact that you guys are color coordinated. Exactly. I was supposed to wear a red shirt and I was going to switch it, but she was wearing yellow and I had to wear yellow. And your mom just said, wonderful job, Alan. Keep doing what you do. Remember, you are a child of God and he has your back at all times. Come on, talk about it, mama.
She is the one that honestly,
tell my daughter.
I talk to my mom all the time and I bounce ideas off of her all of the time. And she's the one that keeps me in line mentally too, because she'll be able to tell if I need to go see my therapist, because she'll be like, Lauren, you're low, you need to get your energy filled back up. And she always reminds me that I have something special to bring into this world. And I have God's light that I need to shine. And so anytime a lot of times people will be like, you just jump out of the screen. I said, that's not me. That's the light. That's the light of God. Like God is shining through me because this is where he wants me to be. Because I get asked again a lot, hey, Lauren, what do you want to do in this business? Like, what's next for you? I will tell you that me being in this business was all God. Because there's been plenty of times that I wanted to quit, plenty of times that I was like, hey, I'll just take the easy route. I'll go work for LSU or something. I'll go be in communications. And God has always made a way. He's always made opportunities for me. So I will have people that ask me, like, what do you want to do in this business with? And I literally just have to say, wherever God wants me to go. Come on. Because that's literally where I have been in this my entire journey. And you can ask my mom. She's watching. She will tell you, I have wanted to quit so many times, but I know that God has something special for me to do. And until he's done with me doing that, then I'm here. And I'm going to continue to be here no matter what. Because I've had this business where I've had people who've like ran over me, like just, spiritually, mentally, and like just really did not want me to succeed.
Wow.
And they would do anything. Like I remember I had this one situation where I was like pulled off the desk. This was like a long time ago. And it was just a situation. And I said, you know what, God, if he wants me to keep doing this, I'll keep doing it. And he literally, not too long after that, those people didn't work there anymore.
Wow. He moved them out the way.
Literally. And so that's when I know that God is really wanting me to still do this. So when people say, hey, what do you want to do? I just want to make an impact. I want to know that when I leave this world, that I did what God wanted me to do here.
Come on. See, you can't be jumping to my like your legacy, your future goals. You over here throwing it out.
I just jumped the questions, but we can
I don't want you doing that yet, Lauren. I'm gonna ask you it again. I'll just like, no, but this is a good place to do that, because coming from that trauma, talking about going to see a therapist, and also still having faith, and then going back to God and trusting in his plan and believing that he will do all things according to the, like what he has written for your life. Like his plans are already written for your life. So if somebody's in your area, in your environment, and they're not right for you, all you got to do is talk to God. He can move them out the way. He got that stiff arm. God got that mean stiff arm. He got that powerlifting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but Davi says, Lauren taking us to the promised land. Come on, we're going to the promised land, people. I have a dream. No, but I love it, man. And I want to, can you just drop something to your mother there? Do you want to say something to your mom? Go ahead and give her, some roses. Yeah. Go ahead, give her some roses right now. Go ahead.
Well, Mom, you have always been there for me, literally my biggest supporter, and will always tell me like it is. But I have never realized how much of a supportive person she was. Obviously, through my life, I know that she's supportive, but like she has literally been my rock my entire life. And I would not be where I am today without God and my mom.
Come on.
So she has continued, and she keeps me very grounded, because sometimes I start overthinking and I'm like, well, what does this mean? What does this mean? She's like, Lauren, just bring it down. And again, always a supporter, because some people were like getting into the business. They're like, well, journalists don't make that a lot of money. Why are you getting in it? I was like, I'm getting in this because this is where God wants me to be. It's not about the money. And my mom and my dad were never like, oh, you shouldn't do this because this. They were always supportive, and having that support from your family is so important. That's because powerful. I know that at the end of the day, as long as they support me, that's really what matters, and as long as I'm making an impact and I'm making an impact for these viewers, that's what matters. That's what God wants me to do. Yeah. It's not all about the, the glitz and the glamour, and people see you on TV and they think it's just, everything is just glamorous. Okay. Right. And that's not how it is. That's not how it is. But I know that I am doing God's work with what I do. And that's what I want to continue to do.
Come on.
And that's thanks to my mom.
Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Mama. So all praises to the Most High God. Keep doing you, Levi Simmons. Thank you, Pops. So I'm loving the family love out here. We're getting the good vibes out here. We love y'all. We appreciate all of you for tuning in. Thank you, guys. I just want to say that right now. Thank you, everyone who's tuning in, who's liking, who's commenting. We really do appreciate you guys. We're glad you're enjoying this interview. Please make sure you're going to follow Lauren. She says she uses Twitter a lot. So go to Twitter, follow her on Instagram, and watch BNC News. So please do that. All right. So we're going to continue and carry on. So we got a good little vibe. I hope you're enjoying the show right now, Lauren.
This is so much fun, because honestly, I see why people have podcasts, because you literally get to talk, you get to vibe, you have all this time to be able to do that. I love this. I love what you're doing, and especially the name of your podcast. Love it.
Thank you. I appreciate the Purpose Pod. And you were mentioning earlier about never stopping, never quitting. You didn't say it in this way, but never stop, never quit, repeat. Just to let y'all know that out here. That's how we do it. But yeah, anyway, so I'm a little off, I'm a little wired, right? I'm a wired person, okay?
I'm loving the energy, because I've been up since early this morning, so you're keeping me awake.
I'm trying to keep her up, y'all. I was like, please, Lauren, don't fall asleep on the show. People will not come back. Please don't. So with media, right? So there's all of this preparation that I have to do for my show, but for you, there's all of these headline news, current events, all of these things happening. how do you manage like staying up to date with what's going on? Is somebody feeding you the information, or do you have to go look for yourself?
I mean, it's a mixture. We get emails. Like, I have my email on my phone. It's the first thing I do when I get up. I actually hear from my senior producer literally first thing in the morning. So she kind of lets me know how the show's going. I'm literally looking at the show, looking at the rundown. And it's just a constant, you know, you're always looking. And I have literally on my phone, I get updates. Sorry about that. My dog is kind of going crazy.
Yeah, I hear it. What's your dog name again?
Josh.
Yeah, Josh. Yeah, Joshy. That's what I saw on like.
He's going a little crazy right now, but it's a process, and you definitely have to make sure that you stay up to date. And I do try though, like on the weekends, just not to be so into my phone all the time, just so it doesn't overwhelm me. But during the week, I let it just flow, because I mean, I do the headlines. I need to know what's happening in the world.
Yeah, I like that. And you don't want to be a headline yourself, right? You don't want to go out there and make a headline, Lauren. We know I don't want to turn on the news, be like, Lauren had to set it off yesterday, y'all. She was at Walmart. Somebody took the last slippers.
Right. Like you gotta keep it professional at all times. You don't know. You don't know what could happen. You don't know who has a camera nowadays. So you just gotta keep it nice and cute.
Nice and cute. Come on. You know, so I think that's awesome that, you know, you've had this, like, so you're powerlifting. And like, when I found out, I think I saw a picture as well. Like, he was out there getting it. I think he posted something. I was like, dang, she out there getting it. I couldn't do that. Like, I struggle sometimes lifting up my little bag over here. So you over here just get No, what's your lift face? Do you have a lift face?
It's not good. No, because it's so heavy. Like, I think about my deadlift face. And it is so heavy, and it, like, my hands, luckily they're not calloused anymore. Yeah. But when I was powerlifting, they were just nasty. Yeah. Like, really gross. But, you know, I had powerlifting friends, and even back in the day, I dated somebody who I powerlifted with, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But when you try to explain,
you couldn't date a little dude. You couldn't date somebody who wasn't lifting nothing, right?
Because I was calloused. It was not cute. And then I also, because we have these suits that are like skin tight because they help you to lift. Yeah, I had scars all over my like the back of my body, and like but it was fun. Yeah. It just was a lot of work.
So you doing that, I'm surprised, like, even after college, you didn't go and become an officer in the Marine Corps or something like that. No. So the military was never on your plate?
Because I would joke with my dad. I'd say, hey, I'm going to go into this. And then he would just be like, no, I've done enough time for all of y'all, the three of us combined. Because, you know, you grow up seeing it. And I would just say, like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be a Marine. And he's like, no. I've done enough time for all of y'all.
Right. That's real though. That's real. So why media? Like, I know you said that God led you, but what was the decision making in your mind? Like, why media? Why did you allow yourself to go down that road?
So growing up, I used to watch Sally Ann Roberts, shout out, on WWL. It's a New Orleans station, and she's Robin Roberts' older sister. And I always said I wanted to be like Sally Ann. I wanted to be like Hoda Kotb, because Hoda was on WWL at the time. And I just saw that they made a difference. They weren't just on TV. Me being on TV was not the goal, just to be like, oh, I'm on TV. It was the fact that they cared about their communities, and they gave back to their communities, and they cared about their viewers. And that's what I wanted to bring. And honestly, I kind of wanted to be behind the scenes. When I went and toured LSU, I met the dean, and he kind of convinced me to try to go, you know, in front of the camera. And then one of my mentors in college, he told me, he's like, oh yeah, you should definitely be in front of the camera. And I'm like, I said, well, let's figure this out, you know, because I knew I wanted to make an impact, and I knew I wanted to be like a Sally Ann Roberts and a Robin Roberts and a Hoda, but I just didn't realize like what I would truly have to do. But again, my path was already paved for me, and it all kind of worked out. But I will tell you, in the beginning, after I graduated college, I did not have a media job for a year. So I was working as a health coach, and I got a lot of no's before a yes even came along a year later, because they were like, oh, you know, you're a little rough around the edges, or, oh, you need experience. But in order to get experience, I need a job. Exactly. So it was just a constant.
They missed that part.
it was a constant flow. And then I decided to just be a production assistant at the NBC Fox affiliate in Baton Rouge. And then I just started taking time out. I was literally working as a health coach in the morning, and then I would be a production assistant at night. And then I would stay late knowing I had to get up early and just look at what the reporters were doing. And then I would actually, on my free time, go out with the reporters, and then I cut my own reel out of the new stuff. And then something inside of me told me I need to focus more of my attention on news. And so what I ended up doing is I ended up quitting my bread and butter, which was the health coaching job, to focus more on news. And 2 weeks later, I was offered a reporter job at the station, and I was with that station for 6.5+ years.
Wow. Look at God. Come on.
I know.
Come on with it. Come on. Talk about saying yes. Saying yes.
And it just, and something in me was just like, I don't know. It's just like, I had to take that leap of faith, because this is what gives me my health insurance. This is what, this is the bread and butter, but I need to focus on this. And I'm so happy I made that leap. And then literally my journey kind of went from there. I was, every 2 years, it was like I got an opportunity to be promoted. And then when I left there, I ended up being the evening anchor on the Fox show, an evening co-anchor. And it was just crazy because I went to LSU. I have a lot of ties to South Louisiana. So it was like the perfect situation. But then BNC calls you up, and you have to take it. And you have to do what you have to do to get there too.
Come on. So you relocated for BNC.
Yep. So I had went to Tallahassee, lived there for a while, then got the opportunity when they were starting to restructure things to move out here to Atlanta. Like literally, our CEO was like, "Hey, Lauren, would you like to live in Atlanta? Like, would you like to move to?" I said, "Yes, please." Tallahassee's cool. No Tallahassee, but I love a big city, and Atlanta has been so much fun so far. I mean, a lot going on. Things are, I get why they call it Hotlanta, because it's literally hot here. It is hot, but I'm loving it, and I'm loving the opportunities and the continued growth that I've seen in myself here at BNC. And what I want to do is just make sure that I'm bringing me, and I'm being my most authentic self. And again, that's a work in progress. Like that is still something that I'm working on. And I don't ever believe that I have everything together. I'm constantly working to make sure I am progressing every single day. Because I don't want to be like, "Oh, Lauren, you're exactly the same as you were at the beginning of Start Your Day." No, that's not how it's going to be. I want to see, "Oh, you've gotten better," or, "Oh, you've progressed. I've seen growth." And even if I don't hear that, I feel it within myself. And that's the main thing, is making sure you see it within yourself. It's not really what other people say, but what you feel about yourself.
It's real. Come on, man. Like it's so real. Like everybody could believe in you. Everybody could see greatness inside of you. Everybody could tell you what they see inside of you. But if you don't believe it, and if you don't even tell yourself that you believe it, if you don't tell yourself that you could do it, like we were talking about earlier, then you just might miss out. Like Lauren could have missed out on her whole life, if she didn't say yes, if she didn't say, "Hey, you know what? I will try out being in front of the camera. I will try this out." So that's big on you. And I'm glad that you decided to do that, because you do it well. You're natural. So keep doing it,
Thank you.
So we're entering the bottom 3 minutes, the last 3 minutes of the show. And I wanted to ask you, so with mental health, right? Like my stuff, the stuff that I face is different than a lot of what other people face, and I know that medically you had to go through different challenges. Could you talk about that, and in light of that, so that other people who may be going through different things could feel a little sense of hope, or, just share your story?
So just quickly, when I was 10 years old, I had to get my right ovary, right fallopian tube, and my appendix taken out because I had a dermoid cyst the size of a grapefruit. It had teeth and hair and everything like that. And I did that. And so I don't have that side of me. And then when I was 15, I had another cyst on the other side, and then I had to get that taken.
Wow.
I didn't have to get my ovary taken out, but I had to get the cyst taken out. So that was 2 surgeries. And then when I got older, my doctor literally had told me after that surgery, he was like, "Oh, well, if you want kids, you're going to have kids between the ages of like 17 and 19. I was like, "Come on." Then he said that was my, and then I just went through this phase where I just didn't even want to deal with a gynecologist anymore because I was just like, oh, this is too much. And then when I was 25, I went because I'm like, okay, I need to take care of myself because if I do want to have kids, I want to make sure that this is, you know, I'm good to go. Yeah. And then they found a cyst the size of a lemon on my other ovary. And currently I still have that cyst, but it's not that big anymore. Yeah. So it's gotten smaller and I'm managing it through hormones, but it's definitely been a process. Wow. That can affect your mental health for sure, because when you're dealing with hormones and synthetic things that go into your body, you don't know how that has an effect on your body. So you have to be very cognizant of that. And then it also kind of puts you in a headspace where it's like, okay, well, I want kids, but my doctor says like, I may not be able to have them, or I may have a hard time having them. And so it kind of gets to you mentally. But again, shout out to my mom who always just says, and I'm bringing it back to God always, that he has a plan for me. And I've always wanted to adopt kids. I'm going to be a mom regardless, whether I have to adopt, whether I have to do in vitro, whether I have to do whatever, I will be a mom. But that can really get you down. And you just have to realize that you are on a path of your own. If it was up to me when I was younger, I said that I would be, by the time I was 28, I would be married. And then by the time I was 30, I'd have my first kid, 32, my second kid. Like I had it all mapped out. I am 31. Yeah. And I'm currently none of those things, but I will say that I am the best version of myself that I have ever been. That is what I am most proud of. And if I can tell anybody who is dealing with ovarian cysts or anything that has to do with your female reproductive system, it is hard. And that is valid. Your feelings are valid, but know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, you know, and luckily I had a doctor that I trusted and we've talked about this on our show, but there's this like distrust within the Black community with medical professionals, not all of them, but like, you know, there's just like that mistrust. And it's just, you know, having these conversations or, you know, talking to people who dealt with similar things than you, or just talking to your friend and just making sure you're opening up about your feelings. I think that's important, but knowing that you are not alone. Yeah. And that there's plenty of women out there who are dealing with similar things. And like, but we have to remind ourselves that we will be okay. Again, your words are powerful.
Your words are powerful. You will be okay. I'm really thankful that you shared that, Lauren. And thank you very much for being transparent about that. And, you know, my prayers are with you on this whole journey, and I'm praying that it will work in your best interest, whatever is the best for you, the best for your health and everything. I know that it will work out. Like your mom says, God does have a plan. And it may, like, you know, when we're going through stuff, Lauren, like when we're going through the valley of the shadow of death, right? And we're, you know, as believers, we always have the bright side in our mind. We have the great side in our mind, but we don't understand the valley of the shadow of death, right? And we say it in our prayers, I should fear no evil, but thou art with me, my rod, my staff that comfort me, right? But we really have to think about these dark times, these dark moments that we go through with our health, with our mental health, our physical health. People are going through different things every day, but what we have to understand that it's not meant to take us out. It's just something that we just happen to be going through right now, but you will make it out the other side. You have to have the right mindset. You have to believe, you have to push forward, you know, and don't let it take you out. Your mental health, your physical health, whatever it is, please don't let it take you out. And if you need someone, please call a psychologist, a therapist, a friend.
Exactly.
You know,
get help.
So please get help. Call someone. So, but yeah, I really do appreciate that, you know, and we all have scars that are within our mind, our bodies, whatever it is. And people don't get to see that every day. We don't wear it. Like we're wearing yellow right now. People see the yellow. They're like, oh man, you know, these guys, they're smiling, but they don't see what we've been through. And seeing you on the news, you know, it's an awesome thing when you see somebody, but they don't look like what they say at church. I don't look like what I've been through.
Exactly.
You know, hey, look, I love a good old school church now when they, you know, when the lady, I went to this church back in the day, and every time at the end, the pastor changed it up. I ain't gonna say not Pastor Tolliver, but you did change it up. He used to leave it for the end, but they had to put it in the middle. But it was like, you know, anybody got a testimony today? And this lady would always come up and, you know, glory be to God, whom I serve. You know, and it started off on Saturday. I was going to the grocery store, you know, and then like she'll have a whole testimony. But I love those testimonies, like the testimonies, you know, we it's not just by the blood of the Lamb, but by the word of our testimony. You know, a lot of people get that freedom from their transgressions, from their trials and tribulations. They don't just get it through their faith or their religion. They get it through the words of our testimony, what you testify about, what you've been through, how I went through the fire, but I don't look like it, you know, but anyway, so yeah. Get me started.
I love that. And that's like, again, when people see me or people don't know me, I'm very open. I'm a very open person, but like they just see my smiling face. They don't realize that I have gone through battles and I continuously still go through battles, but I've learned how to carry them. Like you said earlier. Yeah. Even though I carry it well, doesn't mean it's not heavy.
Come on.
And so it's so important to tell people that we are human. Like everybody else, we deal with our own things. And as long as you're getting the help and as long as you're working on yourself and again, not comparing yourself to others, not competing with yourself is the biggest thing. Making sure that you are better than you were yesterday. That is what's important. It's that self-help. It's that internal looking at yourself instead of everyone else. Because a lot of times in therapy, you'll talk about other people and my therapist will be like, but Lauren, you, and I'm like, oh,
yeah. Yep.
It's not everybody else's fault. You got to look internally, especially if certain things keep happening to you. Yeah. You might need to take a look at yourself.
Yeah. That's real. Come on now. Y'all better, hey, if y'all ain't hitting her up in the DMs, like you probably gonna get some clients. You might need to start transitioning over into the coaching side.
I've always wanted to be a life coach though. I actually have. And it's something that I've thought about because it's just, it helps me. I help so many of my friends out. They'll come to me and they'll be like, well, Lauren, what did you do for this? And I'm over here just trying to do my own journey.
Hey, look, Lauren, for real though, like think about what you've already been through, like going even through powerlifting, right? Just being an athlete, just being a daughter of a Marine, you know, a daughter of a woman of faith, you know, and then now, you know, and going through what you've been through and being in media. And now it's almost like God made the ingredients just right. And now you have, so you have your job and your role with BNC News, but then on the outside, you talked about like having a podcast possibly. And even with the coaching, I think you would kill it. I think people would really enjoy you being their coach because of your mindset and all that stuff. But we could talk about that kind of stuff later. We could game plan that, you know, because I can see you doing that, and I'll help in whatever way I can, and I'll connect you with people, whoever. I know you got connections, but I can connect with people too. So, you know, but yeah. So okay, so I got two more questions, folks. If you guys have got any questions, let us know. Please ask your questions now. I'm going to go ahead and ask. I know, see, Lauren messed me up earlier because I was saving what do you want your legacy to be for the end, but she had to go ahead and jump up. But I just want to go ahead at this end point, ask you, what do you want your legacy to be?
I would say I just want whoever has come in contact with me, whoever has just been in my life, that they've come out a better person because of it, and that I've helped them in some type of way. Because I do feel like I want my legacy to be that when I leave this earth and I have to meet my maker, he tells me that I did a good job and that I did what I needed to do. And that means impacting people. So in whatever way that is, right now, I am doing this through news, but it's one of those things that I'm just going to continue on that path. And I just want to make sure that the little girls who come after me, the little Black girls who come after me can see, hey, she did it. She pushed through so much, but she still had a smile on her face. She's gone through so much, but she still made it out on the other side. And I want them to know that they can always make it out on the other side. And if you have a dream, start now. Start now, because you never know where that's going to take you.
Sorry, I'm over here. I didn't want to cut you off. She said, if you have a dream, start now. I didn't hear I'm about to run around this chair. Praise this. But if you have a dream, start. You better put that on a shirt, Lauren. Come on. If you have a dream, start now. Y'all better put that on y'all post today. Put it on when you wake up in the morning and you start your day. Make sure you put it right there. If you have a dream, start now. That is so powerful. That is because tomorrow, people wait for tomorrow, like next day. You know, I always tell people, like, start planning now, like how we talked about with a therapist. Like, people say, oh, I'll get a therapist, but if you don't start planning, you don't put any action, you won't see anything happen.
Exactly.
So wow, that's so powerful, Lauren. I'm really proud of you for everything that you've accomplished and even everything that you've been through to be standing, to still have joy, Lauren, to still have it is a very powerful weapon. To still have joy. The old folks used to saying, after everything I've been through, I still have joy. So
exactly,
and that's what it is right there. So Lauren McCoy, go ahead. If you have any, I'm over here. I'm all over the place because you got me so motivated. I want to go for another hour, but I can't. I got to definitely have her on again because I want to go deeper and keep talking some more with Lauren. Because you're a dope person, dope individual. I know. I was like, look, I was like, all right, do I want to interview Sharon right now? I was like, no, I don't want to interview Mike right now. I was like, I like Mike not right now. I got his book. I got to finish his book, and then I'll probably interview him later after that. But I was like, Lauren, I want to interview her. She like they give you. I saw your passion come out. Y'all were talking about something, and like you literally, I could see the passion. Like you cut off from like, oh, I was at work to like, I'm about to let this passion fly. And you do that, and they allow you guys, or they give you the room to be yourselves and to do that, you know. And I've seen it with Mike, I've seen it with Sharon, and I've seen it with you. It's an awesome thing. What's my brother name with the glasses that come
Kevin.
on? Huh?
Kevin?
No, not Kevin. No, it's the other guy who comes on at 10 o'clock. He start the Washington. He's with Washington. Joe. Yeah, that's my brother. My brother right there. He's smooth. That man right there, smooth. If y'all don't know, y'all gotta go watch him. He be over there like
great.
He real smooth with it. So, but yeah. So, Lauren, any closing words for the people out there who are living their life, trying to find their purpose, trying to walk in their purpose? Any closing words for the folks out there?
It's okay if you don't know what you're trying to do. But if you keep just doing something, go where your spirit leads you. Because a lot of times we think we want to do something, but then it just doesn't feel right. Go with what feels right and what feels right for your path. Because again, you may not know what that is, but I promise you that God will find a way for you. You just have to put in a little bit of work, and you have to do a little bit of the kind of the first steps of it, but God will definitely show you what that is. Come on.
I got so many worship songs happening in my head right now that if I was a singer, I would sing it. But yeah, you definitely have a gift of inspiration, and you know, what you've been. I'm not trying not to just keep you, but like, Lauren, I just want you to get this. I know that you got all these great people around you telling you stuff, but I just got to tell you this right now. Just seeing and receiving from you, I can feel the power of your testimony carrying you through life. And you know, so like it's like you see people who go through things in the Bible, and you're like, man, like, and they still serve God, and yet they still, you know, they're still there with God. They still trust God. And even though there's complications in the middle of our relationship with God at times when we go through those different things, and we're wondering why, how, there's still this love. And then that love carries us over into our purpose, and we start seeing things happen. We meet different people on the path of what the enemy made our destruction. God made it for our good, you know. So I see your life unfolding into something great and manifesting into something beautiful for people who are going through different scenarios of life. They will hear your story and see your story and be inspired by your story. So please continue to carry the mantle.
And remember, my favorite scripture, one of them, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And from Isaiah. Okay, so let's just leave it on that. Just remember,
come on,
no weapon formed against you shall prosper.
Pastor Lauren McCoy, guys. All right. So Lauren, I'm gonna put you in the back office for a little bit, and then I'll after I close this out, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna thank you, and then you'll be able to go with the rest of your day. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, Lauren McCoy, she has blessed us today. Make sure you guys go watch her on BNC News. Start your day. What time do you guys start up before I wake
6
up?
Eastern, and it's 4 hours, Eastern. So 6 to 10 Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time. My wifey, little peanut Amber says, enjoyed this interview.
Oh, yay! Thank you, Amber.
Thank you, Amber. Boo boo. So, but yeah, so Lauren McCoy, I really do appreciate you. Everybody, please make sure you follow Lauren on Twitter and Instagram. You check her out on BNC News. Please support her. You guys heard her story. Make sure she knows that you guys appreciate her. And okay, Mom says you two are awesome. See, thank you, Mom. We appreciate you. See, girl, I got to meet your mom. I got to meet your mama. Mama, what kind of food you like? You like seafood?
She cooks some gumbo. She cooks a lot, but I mean, she doesn't cook as much anymore. I'm gonna call her out.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
She can cook some gumbo.
Mom, we need some gumbo. Have your mama make some gumbo. I'll send the address when I send you the shirt. So I'm sending you I got your shirt over here.
Yes.
So I'm sending you a shirt, and then just send the gumbo in the mail. Okay, and just I'll heat it up here or whatever.
It can freeze too, so you can freeze it and it'll taste just as good.
So, Ma, you heard her. Lauren's gonna send that to me. I'm just playing. If you can't send it, if I get a package of gumbo,
she will. No, Alan, she will. She will send it if she can.
Let Mama share. Pops, appreciate you. He says, yes, I really enjoyed it.
Awesome.
I really appreciate
Thank
you guys
so much for having me. It's a blessing.
No problem, Lauren. So, Lauren McCoy, once again, guys, and I'll have her in the back. I was right there. Thank you, Lauren. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that was Lauren McCoy. Like, she killed it. I really enjoyed her energy, her story. Like, she passed on a lot of knowledge to you guys earlier on in the interview. So if you missed something, please go back and watch this after we post it. DJ Davi killed it on the 1s and 2s before we got on. So please make sure you connect with DJ Davi on Instagram. Make sure you connect with Lauren on Twitter. If you don't have Twitter, get Twitter, and then go on Instagram and follow Lauren there. Please, and also follow BNC News. Start your day. Sharon and Mike, they're great team. So I'm your host, Alan Levi Simmons. If you guys didn't know, I published a book called Can I Speak? It's a book of poems. You can get it on Amazon, www.canispeakbook.com. I do my Purpose Pod every other Tuesday. So thank you guys for tuning in with me on the Purpose Pod. I really appreciate you. I hope that you all have a blessed day. Mama Sharon says, I will do it before my dance season with the New Orleans Pelicans. Okay, girl. Okay. You got to dance. See, we didn't even get to. All right. So part 2, we're going to have to talk about that, Mom. We're going to have to talk about that dance season. I think I seen a picture. I don't know. We're going to talk about that. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this has been another episode of the Purpose Pod, purposely driving you forward with power and faith. I'm your host, Alan Levi Simmons. Peace.